In this video, I'll be sharing with you a simple tutorial on how to cut this asymmetric corset. So if this is something you like, kindly hit on the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. And this corset pattern is from Stitches by IC on Instagram. But to start, here is my pattern and I've gone ahead to mark out the basic measurements. I marked the shoulder to bust, shoulder to under bust, shoulder to waist, and I added extra 5 inches for my blouse length. You can go ahead to use any measurement of your choice for your blouse length. So after I'm done marking this, I'm just going to go ahead to mark my shoulder divided by 2. My shoulder is 14, divided by 2 will give me 7. Now I'll come down by 1 inch. After marking that, I'll go ahead to mark my basic neckline of 3 inches, which will be serving as a guide. I'll connect from here to that 3 inches neckline. And the next step I'll take is to go ahead to mark a neckline depth of 3 inches. I'll be using this to serve as a guide for my pattern. After marking this, I'm going to find my chest line, which is my bust circumference divided by 6 plus 1.5 inches. I'll go ahead and place my ruler and draw a straight line. After marking that, I'll go ahead to place my tape and I'm going to mark my shoulder divided by 2 here. So after marking this, I'm going to place my ruler and draw a straight line. Now I'm going to go ahead to divide what I have at this part into 2 equal parts, come out by ½ inch. Here I'll mark my bust circumference divided by 4. Now I'm going to place my ruler, connect it from the midpoint all the way up and connect it to the chest line. After I'm done marking this, the next step is to go ahead. Next, I'm going to go ahead to mark my dart. To mark your dart, you need your nipple to nipple measurement divided by 2. My nipple to nipple is 7 inches divided by 2. I have 3.5 inches. I'll mark this all the way going down to the blouse length. And after I'm done marking this, I'm going to go ahead to place my ruler and I'll go ahead to connect. The next step is to go ahead to divide my shoulder into 2 equal parts. That is from the neckline to the shoulder. So sorry that part of my video is not actually showing. I'll divide what I have there into 2 equal parts from the neckline to the shoulder and I'll connect it to the bust of this pattern. So after I'm done marking that, I'll mark my dart intake of 1 inch on both sides. So if you're plus size, please go ahead to use 1.5 inches on both sides, or if you're a bit busty, use 1.5 inches at both sides. I'll place my ruler and I'll connect, and also place my ruler at this side and I will connect. So this is what I have after drafting out. I'll go ahead to outline my dart line. Next is to place my ruler, connect from the bust all the way to the under bust of my pattern. And I'll repeat this at the other side of my pattern. So for my dart, I'll be using a shoulder dart and I'll mark 1 inch on both sides. I'll go ahead to connect this all the way to my bust point. And after I'm done connecting also, I'll go ahead to outline it with my marker. Next is to insert my measurements for this pattern. So now go ahead to decide where you want your cup to start. So I'm using like 3 inches to 3.5 inches above. I placed my tape to measure the dart I have there. So what I'll do is to mark my bust circumference divided by 4. The dart intake I have there, replace it and just add ½ inch for my sewing allowance. I'll mark my under bust circumference divided by 4, measure the dart intake, replace, and then add my sewing allowance. Here, I'm going to mark the waist circumference divided by 4, replace and add just ½ inch for my sewing allowance. Here, I'll mark my hip circumference divided by 4, measure the dart intake I have here, replace it and add my sewing allowance. Right? So after I'm done marking that, I'm going to go ahead to place my ruler and I'll connect my pattern. So after I'm done connecting this, from the bust to the under bust, from the under bust to the waist and down to the blouse length, the next step is to mark my bust dart. That is after I'm done outlining the sides of my pattern. And to get your bust dart is the difference between your shoulder to waist in front and your shoulder to waist at the back. My shoulder to waist in front is 17, while the back is 15.5. If you take out 15.5 from 17, I have 1.5, so I marked 1.5 here and connected it to the bust. So after marking that, I'm going to place my tape and measure about 3 inches or 3.5 above my chest line. From that point, I'll go ahead to connect it all the way towards the armhole of my pattern. Now I'll blend in my dart and I'll start drawing out the asymmetric neckline. Right, I'm using a freehand sketch to do this so that it will be easier for me. Then I'll connect it going all the way down. Then from that point, I'll just go ahead to make another curve which will be coming down. So I'll come down by 1 inch from the bust line, which I'll go ahead to connect, right? So after connecting, this is what I have, and I'll connect my bust to the under bust from that part of my pattern. So this is what I have after I'm done connecting at this part. So the next step I'm going to take is to come down a bit. So this is for the design we have at this part of this corset, right? So I'll just go ahead and connect it, probably like ½ inch or 1 inch after the under bust. Now I'll blend in my dart and mark my nipple to nipple divided by 2 and add ½ inch. If you're plus size, please add 1 inch to your nipple to nipple measurement and mark. Now I'll go ahead to connect this all the way going up towards the upper part of my pattern. But I'll go ahead to blend it out so that this part will match, right? So this is what I have on my pattern. Now I'm going to use my marker to outline my pattern, and after that I'll go ahead to cut it out. Added a little strap to indicate we have like a strap or a sleeve at that point. Now I'll blend in my dart and I'll connect from this point. That is where I have that V going upwards. So I'm trying to create a 3-part corset pattern, and I'll blend in my cup at the side and I'll go ahead to connect this way. So this is what I have, and I'll go ahead to label it out, and the next step is just to go ahead to work on the asymmetric hemline of this pattern. So now I'll blend in my dart here and I will connect going up. I'm also using my free hand to do this, and then go ahead to create like a little curve to this point and then extend it all the way to the sides. So what I'll do here is label this as CF and SF, which is center front, side front, and I'll go ahead to label my cup. So after doing this, I'll just go ahead to cut out my pattern. So if you have any question regarding this pattern drafting, please kindly leave your question at the comment section. And if you haven't yet subscribed to my YouTube channel, please kindly hit on the subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up, leave your comments at the comment section. So after cutting this now, we'll move over to the drafting the back. Please make sure you blend out your dart, and I'm using a tape to hold it before cutting out my cup. Then I'll be joining the upper part cup as a 3-part corset. That is making it 1 piece, and the lower part will be 2 pieces, making it a 3-part corset. And then for the middle part, I'm just going to go ahead to cut out what I have here, and this is what we have. Moving over to the back pattern of this dress, I've gone ahead to mark out all the basic measurements we have for the back. So I've marked my chest line just like we did for the front. The only difference from the back and the front is that the shoulder to waist at the back is 15.5, while the shoulder to waist at the front is 17.5, and I also added additional 5 inches for the blouse length. So we also got our chest line the same way we did for the front. Now I'll go ahead and mark my nipple to nipple divided by 2. My nipple to nipple is 7 inches divided by 2, which is 3.5, and I marked on the bust, waist and blouse length. Now after marking this, I'll go ahead to place my ruler and draw a straight line all the way down. After marking this, the next step is to go ahead to mark your dart intake of ½ inch on both sides. After marking this, I'll come down by 1 inch and I'll place my ruler and connect this all the way going up to the upper part of this pattern. Now after connecting, I'm going to go ahead to extend this to the lower part of my pattern and also repeat this at the other side. So I'll just go ahead to use my marker to outline this to make this pattern very visible for you to see. After marking out, it's time to insert my body measurement. At the bust I'm going to mark my bust circumference divided by 4 and just add ½ inch because there's no dart at that part of my pattern. I'll mark my waist circumference divided by 4, measure the dart intake, replace and add my sewing allowance. Go ahead to mark the hip circumference divided by 4 and add my sewing allowance. After that, I'll connect all the way to the upper part and I'll connect to the lower part of my pattern. So now, towards the chest line of this pattern, I will come down by ½ inch. And I'll go ahead to connect this all the way to the chest line of my pattern. After marking this, you want to mark the lacing. So it totally depends on how open you want the back to be. I'll be using 2 inches and I'll mark this all the way down. After marking, I'll go ahead to place my ruler and I'll connect all the way going to the lower part of my pattern. Now I'm just going to draw like an asymmetric shape coming all the way from the hemline of my pattern to the other side. So this is what I have. I'll make a dot to indicate I have a lacing, and I'll go ahead to just make this strap just to indicate that we have a sleeve or strap coming from the front to the back. Now I'll go ahead to cut out my pattern. So you can go ahead to cut this out, that is sew out the dart, or you can go ahead to cut it into 2 different parts. So at this point, if you have any question, please kindly leave it at the comment section. And if you haven't yet subscribed to my YouTube channel, please kindly hit on the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Thanks.